Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Haley with Haley Stitches, and today you're watching my 10th floss tube. It has been a long time since I've done a floss tube, and it's actually been a really long time since I've even cross-stitched at all. I feel like in the summer, I don't really cross-stitch as often. It really is a really relaxing thing for me to do when the weather's cold and I'm cuddling up on the couch. So I do anticipate having a little bit more time for stitching this fall and winter, but because I have not made very much progress at all, I thought this would be a really good time to do a WIP parade. I have not done a WIP parade, and I have, I think, about 7 works in progress right now. So I'm excited to show them all to you and refresh myself with what I have going on so that I can start making a dent in some of these WIPs. If you notice that I sound a little bit different today, it's because I started Invisalign, so I am getting used to talking to them, so I have a minor lisp when I say my S's, but I am trying really hard to get used to it, so don't mind that. So I decided that I'm gonna go from what I think is the oldest to the newest, or in other words, the very last thing I worked on versus the most recent thing I worked on. And this is my oldest WIP, I think, in terms of the last time that I touched it. So this little project bag, I got like a lot of these project bags from Target. They are from the dollar spot section. I believe they still have them, but I did pick them up, I think, in the spring. So it's definitely possible that they don't have them anymore. I'm also gonna say that I don't really remember the names and designers of all these patterns, so I am gonna link it, or I'm gonna have everything in the description below, and I'm also just gonna put the name and stuff here so that you can see. So this project is a national parks project. So this was a group of patterns that I bought. I think there were 12 of them maybe, but they are a bunch of different national parks. So this is how far I got with this one, kind of like a quadrant and a little bird. So I'm stitching this one on 14 count Aida, I believe, just a white Aida. And I love how these are gonna turn out. I think they're all gonna finish in like a 6 or 7 inch hoop. So they'll be really fun to add to my wall back here. And I can be really flexible with where I place them around this room and in my house. We are planning to go to a couple of state parks this fall, so I'm hoping to maybe stitch a couple that we're gonna go to so that I can get some cute pictures while we're there. But yeah, I have not worked on this one in a while. The other thing that I really love about these patterns is that they all are really kind of neutral tones, so I can use a lot of the same colors over and over, and it goes really well with my home decor. So that is that project. I would say I'm about a quarter of the way done with this project, but it is a pretty quick stitch. So I think when I start picking these up again, they will start to go pretty quickly. This is the next WIP. So I really love this project. I'm so excited to start stitching it again. I know a lot of you guys liked it too on my previous floss tubes, but to start, this is the bag that it's in. So Tammy from Creative Country Girl sent this to me, and I love the fabric. I'm especially obsessed with the sewing fabric on top, and I love that tomato pin cushion. Super cute. So if you are into project bags, definitely be sure to check out her website. I will link that below so you guys can see what she has to offer. And this is what the project is. So this one is called Large Colorful Quilts. It is by Vivian Powers, or VIVSTERS, on Etsy. And this is what I have done so far. So this one is gonna be really big. It's gonna fill out like this entire sheet. I think maybe it'll have a little bit cut off in the end, so maybe it'll be more like this, but it's gonna be a really sizable project. I think we'll end up hanging this one in my basement once it's all done. But this is what I have done so far, so let me get a little closer so you can see the detail and the really bright colors. But I love this one. It's like little individual quilt blocks. And I am stitching this one on 18 count white Aida, and I am stitching with 2 strands. So it gives a really nice full coverage, and those colors are just popping like crazy. So I am really excited to start this one again. I think that I have a couple in here that I know are like almost done. So I think I want to hold off to this until I have those completely done, the ones that are almost done. And then I'm going to start doing like a block every 2 weeks like I was doing last time so that I can get this finished in some kind of timely manner. I have a feeling this one's going to end up lasting like a whole year to finish, but that's totally okay. I have a really good time stitching it, so I don't really mind that it's taking a little bit longer than expected. And as we go through these, I'm going to show you my organization for each one because I am still kind of testing out what works best for me. So for this project, I am using bobbins on a little ring. And then for all of my skeins that I haven't opened yet, I just have them in a little Ziploc bag in here. And that seems to work well for this project because I'm just switching threads so often. But I started using the thread drops, and I'll show them to you in a couple of projects coming up here. But I really, really like the thread drops. I think I want to transfer everything onto them because they seem to work best for me. But I don't mind the bobbins either. I like how the bobbins store better. You can just put them in a little container. The thread drops, they don't really store as easy. I haven't figured out a really good storage solution yet for thread drops. So if you have any suggestions about how you store your thread drops with the floss on them, I would love to hear that. I know obviously you can put them on a ring, but do you just hang up the ring with everything, or do you put them into another container? I am just not really sure what I want to do or what's going to work for me best yet. So this is my third work in progress. So this was a Stitch Quarterly from Fat Quarter Shop. I think it was the spring 2021 Stitch Quarterly. This was the first one I ever got, and I really love this pattern. I think it is so cute, and I am almost done with it. So I definitely want to pick this one up again right away so that I can just get it done, because it'll be a nice kind of quick finish. It stitched really quickly, actually. I got all this done just on a Saturday. So if I think I picked another day to devote to it, I would get the whole thing done. So this is what this one looks like. It is only 5 of these things wide. So I really am pretty close to being like 3/4 of the way done. So I love the colors on this one. I am using Cosmo floss for this one. All the other projects so far have been DMC, but because this was the Stitch Quarterly, they sent the Cosmo floss. So I am using that, and I really like it. I don't sense much of a difference between the Cosmo floss and the DMC. If you have noticed a difference, let me know. And if you like prefer a floss other than DMC, I would love to hear what floss you prefer. I have not tried any hand-dyed flosses or anything, so I know a lot of people really like the look of those, but I have just done like the single dye floss, like DMC or Cosmo are the only two that I've really tried. So let me show you a picture of what this is gonna look like when it's all done, because I have the pattern here. So this is what it's going to look like. I'm sure that you've seen it before. Other people have worked on it and finished it. So it looks like this. It's gonna be really, really cute. And I definitely wanna get this done before spring next year so that I can have it hung up. I also think this would be a good one just to have hung up year round, like in my office, because it doesn't like scream spring to me, but I can definitely see why they included it with the spring Stitch Quarterly. My fall Stitch Quarterly should be coming soon. Like, people have already gotten theirs. I haven't looked to spoil it because I don't like spoilers. But I am really excited to get that one because people have said a lot of good things about it. So I'm really excited to see what that's gonna be. Mine is supposed to come tomorrow. By the time you're watching this, I will have already gotten it, but I am filming it a little bit early, so I'm excited to see what that's gonna look like. I do have another Stitch Quarterly, the one from summer, but I did not start stitching it at all. It's not really my vibe, the pattern, so I just put all the supplies away into my stash, and then I have the pattern still. I'm not sure if I'll stitch it maybe next year for summer, but I never started it, so I'm not really gonna go over that one with you guys. This one is my next WIP, and I love this one. I'm excited to dig it out again and see where I was at. The bag for this one came with a Sew Sampler subscription. I do not remember what month it was, but it has a bunch of like quilting motifs and stuff on it, but I use it for cross stitch because I think it's the perfect size bag for a cross stitch project. And the project in here, let's take it out. I'm trying to remember what this one's called. Okay, yeah, this one's called White and Red Flowers by Stitching Land. So this is what it will look like once it's all stitched up. It's just a really pretty kind of modern bouquet. and I love the colors on it. The exciting thing about this one is that it's stitched on a mint green Aida, and I did get the opalescent version. When I ordered it originally, I didn't realize it was opalescent, but it looks really gorgeous. So I'm happy that I made that little mistake because it turned out to be a really good mistake. But this is the progress I have on this one. So I started this one during Mania, and this is how far I got. I think it was a week's progress, and I love this one. The thing I regret about Mania this year is that I just did like too many starts because it was 5 weeks. So I did 5 starts, and that was too much for me, especially when I have not made like any progress on any of these this summer. So it feels like I have a lot going on and like nothing finished, but hopefully again this fall and winter I'll have a little bit more stitching time. But I love the colors on this one, so bold, and it looks so good against that kind of shiny Aida. You can kind of see it sparkle. So I love how that looks. I'm really excited to get this one finished, and this is definitely going to be like one of the next ones I pick up too. I'm not necessarily close to being done. I mean, I got like a full quarter. I think this was a 4-page pattern. So this was a whole quarter that I got done. So I'm on the second quadrant now, and then I have, so I don't know, a little less than 3/4 of the way left. So yeah, I'm just excited to pick this one up again. It's gonna be really, really pretty. I think it's gonna be really pretty when it's framed too, because it's gonna have that nice shine. So yeah, it's funny going through all of these because when I think about like picking up a cross stitch project, one of the things that I don't love about cross stitch is that it kind of feels like overwhelming to like pull it out and like get all the threads organized and start stitching. But when I pull these out, I get really excited to start working on them again. So I think this is going to be like exactly the push I need to start getting my cross stitch back out. Once we get to my most recent project I was working on, I'll let you know like what I'm thinking about that. It has so many color changes that it's making me, I don't know, a little discouraged. I think that I tend to draw more towards patterns that don't have as many color changes, just because then I can get like a good amount of stitching in without having to constantly be rethreading my needle or changing colors. I don't know if any of you feel that way either. Like, does anybody prefer like, I don't know, like a 5 to 10 colors versus like 20 or 30 colors? Because I see some people do like full coverage and it's so gorgeous, but literally like over 100 colors, and I cannot do that. I don't think I'm ever gonna do a project like that, just because that's just way too much. I know the end product is like gorgeous, but it's just not for me. But I love watching everybody do those on Flosstube, and I love seeing people's posts about them on Instagram. I think I just lean more towards only a handful of colors, and that seems to be the sweet spot for me. Like anything around 8 or less is a project that I'm gonna feel like motivated to work on. I don't know if that's weird or if other people feel that way too, but yeah, that's just kind of how my brain is working right now. What I'm thinking about projects that I'm excited about, they all have like a handful of colors. All right, my next work in progress. So this one is called Garden Party, and I believe it's by 2 Stitch Art on Etsy. And this is one that I'm not excited about because it has a bajillion colors. So for this one, I used floss away bags. I love the floss away bags. I think that this is, besides the drops, this is going to be the other way that I organize things, because it's so easy to just put the extra floss in here and have everything labeled and organized. It's way easier than trying to like write on the bobbins, and winding the bobbins is really time consuming, and I don't want to spend that much time doing prep work. I just want to kind of dive into the project. So I love the floss away bags, big fan, enjoy them. So I think so far, like, my favorite method is the drops. My second favorite is like a floss keeper, which I have for one of the projects coming up. It's just like a piece of wood or plastic with a bunch of holes in it. So it's essentially a floss drop, but you can put like a bunch of different floss on one thing. So I like those. I'm gonna kind of say those are like the same thing pretty much. And then floss away bags would be next, and then bobbins last, because I really like the look of bobbins when people have like a full bobbin case, like bobbin holder with all the different colors. It's like so pretty and satisfying, but it's just not super practical for what I'm finding. But that's just me, because I know like different things work for everybody and that's totally fine. But for me, I'm finding that the floss drops and then the floss away bags just make the most sense and work with the way that I like to be organized. Okay, so garden party. I have like not that much done here at all. So I don't even really know what direction this goes in. I'm gonna assume it goes in this direction, but this is how much I got done. So this was a week of progress during Mania, and I have not touched it since. And this is one that has a ton of different colors and is really a lot of changing colors. It's so gorgeous though. It's so pretty when it's all done. And I really want it to be done, but it's just not. So I'm stitching this one on 16 count white Aida. I really like white. I think it's like a really nice background. I know that the other colors are really cute too, like the mint green that I was working with, and then I have navy coming up. I like those too, but the white just seems like a nice classic color that I've been drawn to. I have not really gotten into any like hand-dyed fabric or anything. I'm still pretty basic with my cross stitch. So yeah, this is where you get all the plain white Aida, but it looks really good with this pattern because there's so many bright colors. It just makes it really pop. So I am liking how this is going, but this is not going to be one that I pick up again anytime soon. It's probably, I want to say that I'm going to keep working on it, and I want to say that I'm going to finish it eventually, but I kind of have a feeling that this is going to be one that just like sits here forever and then eventually just goes by the wayside and doesn't get worked on again. I hope that's not the case, but I am not motivated about picking that one up again. So that's okay. I have obviously plenty of other ones to pick up before this one, and maybe I'll be motivated again at some point in time. We'll just have to see. This one is one of the more recent ones that I've worked on. So this is Serendipity. So this is the Serendipity Stitch Along. This was by Fat Quarter Shop. Obviously, I fell behind stitching along. Definitely fell behind with the quilt too. So I don't know, not really that surprising. I'm not very good at staying on task with stitch alongs or quilt alongs. I wish I was better at it, but this is how far I got done. So I got 4 rows done. I think there's, I don't know, I should have looked it up, but it's like 6 or 7 rows for this. So I'm over halfway done, and this one is a really, really quick stitch. So like, this is one that I could get a whole row done with just like my lunch break and my 15-minute breaks. So like an hour really is what they were taking, or maybe like an hour and a half. So really quick stitch. There's again only like 4 or 5 colors, which I like. And I think I could definitely finish this one in an afternoon. I just kind of have to sit down and do it. So I am gonna be picking this one up soon because I'm so close to finishing it that like I might as well just finish it and then get it hung up in my room. But I love the navy. The navy Aida is something that I really, really like. If I'm not gonna do the white, I think that like navy is a good one to choose. It just makes the colors pop, and it just is something a little bit different. So I like that a lot. And this one I stitched on 14 count navy Aida. It's exactly the same as what the quilt looks like. So yeah, I just need to kind of get back on that. The quilt, I am still on row 3 of the quilt because this block here is like courthouse steps, and I am using the foundation paper pad to piece the courthouse steps, and I only have 1 done, and I still need to do 2 more, I think, but it's like really kind of time consuming to do. So that's why I'm stuck on that one, is because I'm doing courthouse steps, and courthouse steps are not my favorite. But again, I just gotta like plow through and just like put on a movie or put on a podcast and just like do it so that I can move on to the fun stuff after that, or just move on to a different row in the meantime and then save the courthouse steps for later. That's the thing I like about a quilt, is that you can really kind of jump around. You can do that with cross stitch too, but I get lost pretty easily in a cross stitch pattern, so I like to just go like side by side or like up and down. Like I like to have a method to the madness. I can't really just jump around too much. So that's like another reason why I think full coverage would not be the thing for me. Like I have an earth design or something where you need like pattern keeper in order to stay organized, because I know that I would stitch where I'm not supposed to stitch. Yeah, and it would be a huge mess. So I like the simple. I don't know, what can I say? That's just what I am drawn to. Like a pattern like Serendipity, this is what I like. I like something simple, easy, handful of colors, not a problem. So my last work in progress is Flea Market Flowers by HOLT. And you all know this was a stitch along, and surprise, I did not stitch along. So I totally changed all the colors for this one. I'm stitching this one on 18 count white Aida, and the 18 count is the thing that is like tripping me up with this, because it's like too small. I don't know, for some reason when I was doing the 18 count for the large colorful quilt, that seemed to like work fine for me, but then I did it with this project and I have just been regretting it ever since. So let me show you my colors first. So these are my colors. I went with kind of like a purple and pink theme. I kept the same greens and the same browns, but other than that, everything else was changed. So it's kind of like I really like it. I like purples and pinks. So I like my choices for this. Just for some reason, I am not super excited about stitching it. And let me show you how far I got. I have some threads hanging off here. So, I don't know which way does this go. Oh yeah, like this. So I am this far, which is not far at all. But I really like how it's turning out. Like, I like the purples. I think they look really good together. The colors look really nice, but this is the project I was talking about. This one is making me like not want to stitch, and it's because of all the color changes. This has like a bajillion color changes, and it's just like not that fun to only get to do one little leaf and then have to change colors. And I don't know, maybe I'm just having like a pity party for myself, but I love the pattern. I think it's gorgeous. Let me pull it out so I can show you. And everybody else's look so good on Instagram and on Flosstube. And I think like the other thing that's gonna be tripping me up a little bit is that I changed the colors. So it's not as easy to follow along. Like, I have to match, like, okay, this says red, but like what was my red that I chose? So that makes it a little bit more challenging too. But like you can see, I'm only like this far and there's still all this left. The small little pieces though go pretty quick. So like a lot of these are smaller flowers. I'm kind of hung up on this like big motif here, and then like this one's gonna take a really long time too. But everything else kind of goes pretty quick. So I think I should, I don't know. Again, it's another one, I just gotta sit down and do it. This is one that I definitely wanna finish. And it was kind of my goal for myself to finish this one before I picked up another one, but as we can tell, that did not go very well. So I think what I'm gonna do is maybe try to start stitching on this one, or really anything, just to kind of get my stitch mojo back, I guess, and maybe do it like during my lunch break at work or something, just like a little snippet of time where I only have 30 minutes to work on this, just like to get in the groove, like back into the groove of things. I don't know about you all, but I definitely go through like creative waves where like I'm really into one project or craft and then not so much into the other ones. And lately for me, it's been quilting. So like over the last winter, I guess like the end of winter and spring, it was cross stitch for me. Like I was really into cross stitch during that time. But then once summer, like the end of spring and summer hit, I've been really into quilting. So I'm not sure if the same thing will happen over this winter or in this fall, but if it's anything like last year, then it will, and then I'll get back onto a cross stitch kick. But yeah, as you can tell, like with the videos on my channel and stuff, it's been a lot of quilting videos. I do have a couple of more cross stitch videos coming up in like the end of November and December. And I would like to start doing maybe like a monthly floss tube, like once every 6 weeks or something, a floss tube. But again, you know, if I'm not stitching, then I don't really have much to show y'all. I hope you can forgive that it's been so long since I've done a floss tube. I thought a WIP Parade would be pretty fun, just to kind of like get a refresh on everything I've been working on, and then moving forward, you'll kind of know like where I was at. And I love watching WIP parades. I like at the end of the year when there's like a bajillion WIP parades to go look at on YouTube, but I am doing mine kind of the beginning of fall. So I saw a couple done this summer, like halfway through the year. And I just figured that this would be a good time to do mine because, again, I just haven't been stitching that much. So I hope you all enjoyed my WIP Parade. As always, everything will be linked in the description down below if you liked anything you saw or want more information about it. If you liked today's video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos just like it, some more Flosstube, some cross-stitch videos, some quilting videos, mostly quilting videos lately, then please subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. And I will see you all next time. Bye.